Hello everyone, and PTR is just live now for Amirdrassil, and we're testing now the second boss in Heroic, Igira the Cruel. So this is a really cool boss, and let's just start off with tank mechanics, because why not? So with tanks you gotta be a little bit careful because you share damage, so you need to stand on top of each other. Every time you take a melee hit, you're left with a big physical damage that is shared, and then a dot that just deals Shadow Flame damage every second for 24 seconds, because why not? So basically you kinda have to figure it out when you really need to do taunt swaps. Just check how much damage you can take, honestly, it's nothing that special. Now, onto the fight itself, you have these twisting blades that you have to dodge, that's pretty simple. And then you have the spears, which we just saw here earlier, which is this mechanic that selects a few players, and these players will now drop spears and get impaled. Healers, you should definitely target heal these players, and we are just using a bunch of cooldowns like to keep people alive and trying to stack them, because that's like just way better to have them stacked with the boss. But I'm thinking that they might jank up the tuning here on live, and you can't actually do this. So for now you can if you use a cooldown, but I think in live we might not be able to do this, so you will have to move out with this slightly. But yeah, we just get these players speared and then we kill the spears. Keep in mind that the spears are giving 1% energy to the boss, making the soft berserk timer earlier, but this does not seem to work on the PTR. After that, it's just a rotation of mechanics, and honestly there's nothing special happening for this boss, that is it. But now the boss has 3 special abilities. Moving on to those special abilities, we'll start here with seeing that the boss is casting Marked of Torment. This knocks you, and then you gotta select a weapon to soak one of these 3 weapons here. And you notice how in the room you have this zone here, and this zone here. That's one of the 3 that you need to soak, and depending on which one you soak, you'll get a special ability that is different. Let's start with the first one here in the middle. So we soaked it, and another way we decided to soak is by just using SLT or whatever, and just everyone stacks in there. And we noticed that soaking this is way easier than if you had to just like dance around because of all these swirlies, which seem to be too many swirlies considering our raid size, and that might be tuned down. But yeah, we soaked that weapon, and now we can damage the boss, obviously, during this phase. So the ability here that we selected is one that might be very similar to you if you've done Rush Shock, which is Smashing Viscera. The boss will just jump towards a person, and then you have swirlies to dodge, and we can see that around here. So here's our first player getting selected, the boss jumps, spawns a bunch of swirlies, and now jumps a second time. So every time you select a weapon, it seems that the boss will do the special ability twice on rotation, and when the boss does a special ability, then you won't have to deal with spears. Once the boss casts the ability twice, then you go back to the phase where you have to deal with spears. So around this point we are about to select yet another mechanic, and it does seem that we are going to select the mechanic over here on the right, which is the Heartstopper. So just as the boss activates the weapon, we take this hit, leaving a dot. So this is actually avoidable. We should have stayed out and then move in and soak the weapon, but hey, this is what PTR is there for us to test new stuff and to learn. But moving on to this mechanic, this is just really chaotic, but we found that the best way to do it, and you'll see here in a second, is to just stack the raid. So what this mechanic does is it puts a heal absorb on people, and if this gets healed or expires, whenever it expires, it spawns a bunch of balls that you have to dodge, and then if it doesn't get healed, what ends up happening is the player explodes by like 500,000 to the raid. So as you can see, we get together, and now we have these little hearts on top of our head, and we're just staying together and dispelling everyone. Because we're doing it this way and we're all stacked, this doesn't actually hit us, so it's just a way to cheese the mechanic. I'm not sure if this is intended or not, but that's one way to do it. And finally, Rocking Skewer, the one on the left, is just a special ability that the boss does, puts like a big soak on the tank, and we just have to soak it. All the damage inside it is shared between the people inside. However, what's gonna happen is that the people inside will get stunned for 10 seconds. Now this is really bad, but you can mass dispel or single dispel. As for the people outside, they will take high physical damage every 2 seconds for 26 seconds, so honestly there's quite a few ways for you to deal with this. You can send immunities to soak, you can put an immunity on the tank, like spell ward, so that we don't have to soak, or you can even just consider having people soak and dispel them. Now, as you can see here, here's the massive soak, is this hard to see red zone here, and as the boss casts this, we send some players in, either an immune or whatever. We're sending some players in, and our priest here is preparing a mass dispel on these players. As you can see, this dazed icon means that they are stunned. We dispel them, and now their stun is gone. Finish with single dispels, and everything's fine. For the ones that did not soak though, the rend looking icon is the debuff that you're now left to heal. And that's about it for Igira the Cruel on Heroic. Keep in mind that this is PTR, so anything can change, and it just might. And yeah, there's not much more to say about this boss. Actually, a very good looking second boss. But for now, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye bye.